as he claims to enjoy eating desserts best in his drawers in the dark. Oh yeah. He also still asks his family members to hide cookies from him to keep him from eating them all. Again, same. I feel like that's just a best practice, in fact. I think everyone can do that. But he does have one surprising fun fact. In spite of having served as a Marine, he most identifies with the cowardly lion from The Wizard of Oz. Let's raise the roof for the sensitive, sweet, savvy, simply stellar Saeed Abdul Rahim.
I think this is good. Now that I'm scaring everybody in the room. Yeah. So anyway, it all started for me with my addiction in 1967. I was 4 years old. Sure was. I can remember it like it was yesterday. How it is to be 4. Come downstairs with my mother waiting. She's making my favorite, the same thing I eat every morning, oatmeal. I'm watching this show in 1967 called Romper Room. Anybody remember that? Raise your hand if you remember Romper Room. Right. So it was like a Sesame Street before Sesame Street. And at the end of the show, this lady would go, "Let me see who I see in magical TV land." And she would see Barbara, Daryl. She never saw my block yet, Saeed. My mother got wind of it. She sure did. I found out later on in high school my mother got wind of it because I jumped out of my pajamas when that lady said my name. That was the beginning of the addiction. I said, "Mom," she said my name. And my mom was just giving me that look like, damn right she said it. I called the TV station. But she didn't tell me that then. That was years later. Thank you for that, Mom. She's here tonight. Happy birthday, Mother's Day. But she's the one that's responsible. Keep laughing. She got me addicted to attention. My mother gave me all the attention. My sister was older than me, 1967. She started first grade. And I know she was bigger and better than me because she knew her numbers, days of the week, and she was in charge of me. So I wanted that attention that my sister got from the big guy, my daddy. He was the big guy. I had to get his attention. But in 1967, something else happened. It was this white guy that changed my life, Dick Van Dyke. When I saw Dick Van Dyke come in the room and flip over, I says, I gotta get that. I gotta do that. I gotta learn how to do that. And my mother can attest to this. I flipped over everything at 12 o'clock when Dick Van Dyke came on. And everybody ran up to him to see if he was okay, and he would start laughing, and the show was on. Right. I says, I gotta do this Dick Van Dyke shtick. I do. So I went out to the playground. All black neighborhood, 1967. I went out to the playground and told the kids about Dick Van Dyke. They kicked my ass. It's the truth. They kicked my ass. I didn't know they were racist. But anyway, so what happened was, I'm doing my Dick Van Dyke thing all over, everywhere I go. I mean, we have family gatherings. Here comes me in here, stumbling over things, trying to imitate people. And one time we had this family gathering in 67, and we had a talent show, if you will, just a little run rehearsal of it, just come out, and my grandfather had the pictures, he was taking pictures and video cameras and all. I don't even think it was 16 millimeter actually. And everybody comes out and just shows their outfit, and I see my dad over there, and I want to get his attention, and I got to get his attention. I know I got Mom in the bag, and my sister hates me, she's in charge of me, but I gotta get my daddy's attention. And I come out and introduce myself and unzip my zipper and zip it back up, and the place explodes, and my daddy is over there bent over laughing. Boom! I nailed it. I knew that's what I wanted. So I was falling around and making jokes for years until I got in high school and I was 200 pounds. Wasn't nothing funny about that. Falling around and making jokes and looking like a damn fool. So I turned my attention to sports. Isn't that what I was supposed to do? But anyway, I turned my attention to sports. Became an All-American football, National Football Weight Championship, weightlifting championship and all that. And it didn't mean anything to me. Because it wasn't the attention that I needed. It just wasn't enough. Then I go through my high school years and being accomplished and socially, there wasn't nothing funny. I hadn't really dealt with my addiction. I knew it at an early age that I was addicted to it. But I hadn't really dealt with it, and I was missing a lot of social miscues. Even though I was popular to people, I was nobody to myself. I went on through college, started changing my names, started using my jokes and fixed up my act. I was a good-looking guy for a minute there. Got a lot of dates. I said, this works. I like this. But my relationships didn't last for more than 4 or 5 months. The jokes just weren't funny enough. They weren't. And I remember by the time I got in my 20s, I remember a young lady I was dating, I overheard a conversation she was having with my mother. And she was telling my mother, I love him to pieces. This guy is so affable. I was like, damn, I need a dictionary. What the hell is that? But I love him. But he is so needy. He needs a lot of attention. And you know, and I kind of overheard, I was eavesdropping. And I was behind the door and I heard this young lady, and oh boy, I thought she was a knockout. I really loved her, I thought I did, but she was just feeding my addiction with attention, right? She told my mother she had to split up with me. And my mother, God bless her, she was even sympathetic towards the girl. Like my mother was like, oh, honey, I know. He's a handful. I helped create that. But nonetheless, it didn't really hit me until I got like in my early 30s, and I'm still whoring around, dating, you know. And my dad had cancer one time, and he's on his second bout of cancer, and he says, come here, boy. That's the best I can do. He sounds like Rodney Dangerfield, may he rest in peace. He says, come here, boy, let me say something to you. You've been in the Marine Corps, you've done this and done that, you've sold your oats. But I've had cancer one time. Would you slow down and give me a grandchild? How you've made love to everybody but your brother, your sister, your mother, and me. Would you take it down a notch? I was like, okay, I will. And then it all changed for me, just like in 1967 and 1997. 1997, now, I'm 34 years old. And I'm being a slut. I am. I know the conversation that the young lady had had with my mother. And then I know what my father said to me, even though he was joking, it was real. I had to grow up. I had to grow up fast. I still wanted the attention, but it was causing me a lot of problems, that addiction to attention in relationships. I just wasn't hitting my mark, and I wasn't growing up, and I wasn't being a man. And I had to grow up, and I realized that. And in 1997, I went on this, like, I guess you could call it like a blind date, so to speak. And I meet this beautiful woman, and she's from the Caribbean. I had never dated anybody from the Caribbean that I could remember. And we dated for a couple of months. And I remember in the park that we were in. We were in a park in Arlington, not too far from here. And she pulls my arm to the side, and she looks right at me. And she said, look, man. Who are you? Damn Jackie Gleason? You always got a bunch of jokes. I'm not with you for your jokes. I'm with you for your heart. 25 years later, I'm still married to her. And then I started having kids. The attention is never on you. Get over it. She tells me that still. I think she told me that this week. But the attention isn't about you. What I realize with my addiction is it's still going to be an addiction. You just deal with it differently. Exactly. I'm still addicted to attention. Why do you think I'm here on Monday night? But I love the fact of the matter that you give me an opportunity to explain my addiction, and hopefully it helps somebody. And thank God for Dick Van Dyke. He's 90-something, and I still love him. And I was going to sing the song, but if I don't get a request, I won't sing the song. So, the Dick Van Dyke song. Okay, you don't put it like that. Here they go, baby. That's not it. If you're ever in trouble, the troubles or bubbles, it tells Mr. The troubles to get lost. Woo. I'm not done. Okay. Hold your head up high and stop crying, stop trying, and don't forget to keep your fingers crossed when you realize that the joy of living is loving and giving. You'll be there when the final dice are tossed. A smile, it's just not a smile, it's the frown turned upside down, so let your frowns defrost, and don't forget to keep your fingers crossed. Thank you, Dick Van Dyke.